Hey you, I'm the Queen of Shade. Welcome to the interview. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and hit my Cash App to support your favorite content creator. Now let's get to the interview. Mwah.
Let me tell you something. You're a bougie bitch and your mama is too. Said you're a bougie bitch and your mama is too. You're a bougie bitch and your mama is too. Said you're a bougie bitch and your mama is too.
Salutations, Stufos. This is your fabulous leader, the Queen of Shade, coming to you with another special presentation. Moving full speed ahead, getting to know some very amazing people, speaking to people all over the world, and learning their stories and learning about them has been quite an amazing, amazing undertaking. I have been blessed to meet some really amazing, really beautiful people. And having said that, I have someone else that you need to meet today. This young man is a fitness trainer. He is the founder of Black and Queer Fitness. It goes on, we're going to ask him about it. As a fitness coach, and what is this, living fit expert? Okay, yeah, we're going to ask him about that. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please help me welcome to my camera, Mr. Tyriek Taylor.
Hey, how are you?
Hi, how are you, sweetie?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
Oh, it's so hot. I had to turn off the air conditioner because I don't want the sound of the air conditioner to bleed into my audio. So I'm over here. I'm like I always say when I do these in the summertime, it's hot as Jesus balls over here. But
wait, can you hear mine right now? Can you hear mine?
No. I can't hear yours. Maybe if I stop talking, hold on. No, you're good.
All right, good.
No, but I'm just saying, if you see me pick up this fan every now and then, it's just because I got to fan the girls. Although with a little sweat on them, they look pretty good. So yeah, how are you today?
It's been a long day, but I'm good. I'm doing really good.
Yes. I think you worked all day.
Yeah, it's time for the cool down. Me and my nephew, after this, we're gonna go get haircuts because we need them.
Okay.
And then grab something to eat.
Okay, mister. Well, so I started in on this. So tell me, it says, okay, founder of Black and Queer Fitness. We know that. We'll get to that. What's Fitness Coach PPSC?
So that's one of the certifications that I have. So it's pain-free performance specialist certification. So pretty much having the ability to work out people and not have them in pain.
Nice.
So like having them do just different exercises where they're like, oh my God, well, this pinch or, this pull right here.
You know what? Does this say you were featured in Men's Health magazine?
Yes, Men's Health.
And you talking to little old me? You was in Men's Health magazine and you talking to little old me?
You're a big deal. Stop playing.
So we'll go from the beginning. So first of all, tell me, because when we were setting this up, I flashed you, because I do it to everybody. I flashed you my number and you were like, oh my God, that's a Philadelphia number. I know, yeah. So I was like, okay, because you got really excited. So I'm gonna ask the question because now I already know 2 + 2 is 4. Tell me where you're from. Where were you born?
All right, so I was born and raised in Philadelphia. Live right off of Broad and Lehigh. So you have Susquehanna, maybe a few more blocks up. That was my area.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
Wow. I lived over there for 4 months. I had to get out of there.
So what part of Philly are you from? Or are you still in Philly?
Yes, I am. Okay, so get this. It's a long story. So okay. I started off in the projects of North Philadelphia. Then my grandmother, so I want to say around 12th and Diamond. And then my grandmother, yeah, okay, you know, just,
Bro, yeah.
yeah, okay. So then my grandmother got a house outside of the projects, like near it, but it was at it was at 12th and Diamond. So the projects were at 11th and Diamond and 10th and Berks. So then she got her house at 12th and Diamond, and then she went on and got her master's degree and became, you know, an even more amazing educator as she is. And she moved us. So I moved from there when I was 10. And then she moved us from there and she moved me to Abington, me and my siblings. So we went to school. I started at 10 years old. I started in Abington, actually Glenside. I went to Highland Elementary School. And then from there, it was a suburban experience, but the struggle was still with us, child. It was hard. Like when I tell you it was hard, it was hard. Like it was hard because my grandmother was the only breadwinner and I was too young to, you know, do anything really major to help the situation. And I was the oldest of 4 kids. My mother was on drugs, my father, mental illness. My mother has mental illness as well, but they were like not in the picture. But like, what's so crazy about it is we moved almost 45 minutes to 50 minutes away from that area, but there was a church at 7th and Oxford. So now we're talking real in the hood. And I can tell you this because you know, you're a Philly boy. So we went, I used to get so mad at them because I was like, why do we live almost an hour away? And there's a beautiful church across the street in the suburbs, but y'all got me going down here to this black ass church down here in the middle of the ghetto. And but yeah, period, indeed, because the grown men bullied me because I was gay. I was 10 and they bullied me really badly. So, long story short, I did get the opportunity from being in the suburbs to go apply to 4 colleges. I went to college. Unfortunately, like I said, ghetto shit follows you. So the mental illness that was hereditary in my mother and my father reared its ugly head sophomore year. I went to Clarion University of Pennsylvania. So turn around, that's out near Pittsburgh. So then I had to medically withdraw. So that here I was like 19. I didn't know what I was going to do. And when you don't know what to do, I mean, what do you do? Entertainment. So no, I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking. No, so I was in the hospital and I sat on the edge of the bed and I was crying to the divine. And I was like, what am I going to do? Because we were heavily indoctrinated, but I had started to like pull away. I had started to like realize who I was and things like that. And I said, what am I going to do? And he said, you're going to use what I gave you. The divine said that to me. You're going to use what I gave you. So I'm sitting on the edge of the bed and I'm like, what did you give me? You know, because for me, education was everything. So he's like, I gave you a voice, use it. And I started from that day in the hospital, I started singing. They called home, told my grandmother, he sounds like a bird. And from that point, I found myself into fashion, went to Paris, modeled in Paris for 6 months and was all over the place. And then mental illness, you can't escape it. So I didn't really, until what was that about? I'll be 40 in September. So I want to say 16 years ago, I finally got the hang of it. But Philly, I know Philly, when you said Lehigh, I lived over there because I had a job. I was at 30th and Allegheny at Pep Boys corporate office. And so we lived right there, me and my brother and I, and I'll never forget, I moved into this neighborhood because we were living down closer to Temple University.
Yeah.
You know, there's more police presence. They don't want I'm gonna say it, they don't want them white kids to be, you know, okay. So the protection was there. So then we move into the 30th and the Lehigh area, and I have these Persian cats. And do you know, I used to get up early in the morning to go to work, and I had my cat, I used to take my cat to work with me. And because I didn't trust to leave her in the house. And I'll never forget 2 guys. I saw them, but this morning was different. It was dark. I always went to the bus stop. You know, people, you know, Black folk, they watch what you do. They watch your movements. They want to learn what you do so they could, whatever. So this morning, the divine said to me, put on your soccer cleats. Put on your soccer cleats. So, you know, I had them from high school. So I put on my soccer cleats, metal soccer cleats. So mind you, I'm standing at the bus stop and I see these guys walk up, and it just looks like, okay, they're waiting for the bus. They're on the other side of the street. They're going a different way. They pull their hoodies over their faces and tie them. Yeah. Then one starts moving towards me across the street. So I'm like, oh, something's going on here. But in the whole time, I got these soccer cleats on and I'm scratching them against the ground. And ghetto kids don't know about soccer. Ghetto kids don't know about soccer. So they didn't know what the hell I was doing or what was making that sound. So I walked up to the next street with my cat and I'm like, all right, whatever. No, I turn my back. The guy comes over and hits me in the back of my head with his fist. And one thing about me is, what did I tell you? I was raised in the projects. So I don't know what he thought. I was going to cry, fall to the ground and scream. But I said, you son of a bitch. And I started to attack him. He tried to run. I had soccer cleats on. I ran up his back with my soccer cleats. Needless to say, until I moved from 30th and Lehigh, I had no more problems.
See, I was young when I lived around there. And it's funny, we have very, very, very similar backgrounds. Like I was raised by my grandmas.
Uh-huh.
My mom was present for maybe like the majority of like the beginning stages, like going into middle school before, she wasn't. And then my dad was like never there. I guess it's safe to say that.
Yeah.
And no, my grandma's was like everything. But like you're talking about 12th and Diamond, there's a park right before you go under the bridge.
Yep. And
we weren't allowed to go there like during the afternoon or then like at night because that's when shit goes down.
Right.
But yeah, no, that's crazy. That's crazy. And then living with my grandma, we went to a church all the way in Jersey.
Wow.
Pennsauken, New Jersey, a Pentecostal church.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely grew up like the religious kid. I was in the closet.
Child, all this was in a closet. all of her, she was in a closet.
But I mean, I was also like I guess I was like the nerdy kid. Like out of all the grandkids, I stayed to my books. I stayed to myself. I would sit in the house and draw, sketch, eat Pop-Tarts, strawberry milk. Like, Cartoon Network was my jam. Clarissa Explains It All. Like I would just come home, do my work, color, paint, do whatever, and just like be to myself. So when it came to the point where I finally I wasn't even ready to come out. Like I wasn't even sure. My older brother, all right, let me paint the picture for you. Yeah. So at my grandma's place, she has a den. Her den is like the size of my entire New York apartment.
Right.
And inside there, she keeps like our prom outfits. I used to play the drums as a kid. So like my little drum uniforms. And then there's like pillows and blankets for whenever like family come over for whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
I had just started like hanging out with this guy who happened to be like very openly, flamboyantly gay. Just like, I like dudes, what's up? Yeah. And I think I was 16. It was my first time smoking weed. And we just sat there and talked. And like, I used to love hanging around him because he was like so cool and just like did not give a fuck about anything. Yeah. I never really thought about like, am I gay? But then those questions start happening. Like, have you ever let a dude like, go down on you? Or have you ever thought about it? And I was like, I mean, no, I don't know. And he's like, well, would you? I'm like, I don't know. And he's like, you want to try? And I'm like, okay. So inside of the den, we go into the closet, lay the blankets all out, and we're watching SpongeBob. SpongeBob is on. And my older brother walks in. In a way, it's like a small little hallway. So if you open up the closet door, it kind of like blocks it off. Like I was thinking, like I might get caught doing something that I'm not even sure. Yeah. He comes in and he was like, what the fuck are you doing? And again, my older brother, he's the bad one. Sports, got all the girls. Like my older brother was like my idol. Like I wanted to be like him.
Right.
And then he finally got that one thing on me. My little brother getting his dick sucked by a dude. He called the entire family, everybody. And that one night he called everybody. And I was like, okay, all right. And during this time, not only was that like a big deal, but my grandma had also discovered that I was bulimic. I was like throwing up all my food. So like everything came out at once. So then, I played the whole role. It's like, okay, I'm bisexual. I'm confused. I don't know. Knowing that was the best hit I've ever gotten in my entire life. I've never felt like that to anybody. And then like later on, like, and it was a struggle with me and my family for a while. especially like being raised by my grandma. She just like didn't understand it. And she like old school, like,
Yeah.
it's a phase. Everyone's saying it's a phase.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't think so. I don't think so. But fast forward, I got out the hood. I moved to Austin, Texas. And that's where I just like came out. I was like, I'm gay. And I wasn't like really communicating with my family, just like my younger siblings. Because my mom's side, I'm the oldest. And on my dad's side, I'm a middle child.
Damn,
So,
we're the same. We the same. On my mom's side,
yeah.
on my dad's side, I'm a middle child. Wow.
And then you brought up cats. Literally like a month ago, not even a month ago, 3 weeks ago,
yeah.
I left like my back window open. And like little random stuff started happening like in my apartment, like certain lights weren't connected to Alexa. I was like, okay, that's weird. And then like, you know, when a cat sprays,
Yeah,
like it's straight, you smell it. It's like
the ammonia.
Yeah, it's this profound smell, and it was coming from the back room. So like, let me close the window. So then day 2, I'm hanging out with my friends, and I smell it even more. And more lights and things are like missing or like falling over. I'm like, yo, I'm tripping. Third night, I get wasted. Me and my friends go hang out, we're celebrating. And I wake up in the morning, I go to work, I'm sitting at my desk, and there's a pile of shit under my desk. So I know, because I don't drink often. So like, I know, like, I'm like, there's, I'm walking around, I'm like questioning myself, like, yo, did I shit? Did I like come home and like shit under my desk? Like, no, like I've done some crazy things, but I wouldn't do that. So it's 3:30 in the morning. I'm calling my best friend. I'm like, yo, like, how fucked up was I last night? Like, I remember being like, I'm questioning everything.
Yeah.
I'm checking myself. Like, if I probably didn't even wipe. Like, what's going on?
He said I probably didn't even wipe.
So all the lights in my apartment are on. I'm like what's happening? And as I come back into the living room, this little cat is peeking his head out from under the couch. So I was like, okay, did I smoke weed? Am I high? Am I drink? I'm questioning every single thing I did that night, because this morning was like unreal. And there was like a cat staying in my apartment for like 3 days. And that's just you brought up cats, and I've been talking about this story for like 3 weeks now.
What did you end up doing with it?
I don't have it anymore, but apparently when stuff like that happens, the cat adopted you. So I kind of regret like talking to the super about it. It wasn't mean. It let me touch it. The stomach was sinking in, so I know he hasn't eaten in a while, like a long time. So I don't have it anymore. I don't have the cat anymore. But I do wish I would have kept it.
It's okay.
It was like,
it's okay. Listen, it's okay. You weren't ready. You know, they choose you, yes, but you weren't ready, and that's okay, because even when I had listen, I adopted a rescue about a year ago from the SPCA, and she's Calico. She's 3 years old. She'll be 4 in July. And I've worked on her, myself, my grandmother, my nephews, we've worked on her, but she's still so damaged. She's so damaged. She loves my grandmother. She'll go to my grandmother. She'll talk to my grandmother for a while, but you can't touch her. And then she'll have this thing where she'll attack you, but she'll be purring at the same time. This child just doesn't know what she wants. So she wants the affection, but she's afraid of the actual touch, because you could tell somewhere in her past she was mishandled. So she lets me pick her up. But like I want to say every day we go through this ritual where I kind of like, I've had therapy for 16 years now. So it's kind of crazy, because we go through this ritual where I kind of work it out with her physically. So what she does is she'll take, and I'll go in the kitchen to get something. She'll attack the back of my feet. So then when I turn around to face her, she'll run away. So I noticed that she was doing that. So I wasn't engaging with her. And this is the thing about her. She never opens her claws. She likes to use her teeth, but she never sinks in. So she's not really trying to cause harm. But what I started to do is I would like, it's the craziest ritual because I know my neighbors are like, oh my God, because I start screaming, you'll hear me. And I'm like, come here, cat, come here, cat, cat. And she'll run from me and then she'll come back. And that's the thing about her. She'll come back. And now she's to the phase where I'll turn around too quick for her to get away. So she'll plop over on her back and put her claws and her paws up so you can't touch her. But listen, I wanted to be a veterinarian. I've read about these things. I know about these things. So the thing is, if you're a cat and you're on your back, you can only protect one end at a time. I have two hands. So what I'll do is I'll put my hand here to her head and this hand to her tail. And she doesn't know which hand to go after. So when she makes her decision, I take the other hand and pet her. While she's going after this hand, I pet her. And then eventually I'll see breakthroughs because she'll just stop. She'll just stop and lay there. And it's just like, you know, it's kind of funny that we're talking about these things because you nor I had the best upbringing. It was difficult. It was hard. We made something of ourselves, but we still carry those experiences in our memory, in our blood, in our bodies, in our bones. And that's what I went to therapy for 16 years, not to get rid of, but to learn how to process. So, you know, I said all of that to say that even with her, I will never adopt another rescue. I will never. Because, and it's kind of funny that I say it like that because that's probably how people think about, you know, us, or I will say me, not you. You know, I will say me with living with bipolar 1, PTSD, acute anxiety disorder. I've got all of that. That's what the 16 years of therapy were for. I take medication. And it's ironic because of what I do and the level of proficiency that I do it too. Everyone wants to know me. Everyone wants me to come here. Everyone wants me to go out. And I just don't. And they're always like, bitch, you got to come out of that room. Like, you got to do this, you got to do that. And I don't. And my thing is, I've learned kind of through it all. It was very painful. It was very hard, but I learned how to be my own best friend. I learned. And then in discovering that, in discovering that, you said something that was also interesting. You grew up Pentecostal, so did I. I was Church of God in Christ.
Church of God in Christ.
Yes, right? Right? So, you know, I knew a lot of things about spiritual gifts. And it was kind of funny because my gifts didn't operate to their full capacity until I left the church, until I came out, until I started seeking God for myself. And I call God the divine. I call God the divine. I don't have that kind of relationship that most people do, but literally the divine said to me, you know, I remember being in Paris. It was actually in Paris. And he said, go to the park. You know, there's a beautiful park in Paris. And I go up, I wake up, I go to the park. And he's like, I need to talk to you. And he took me to a public place. And I'm like, what's up? And he's like, you know, you're gay, right? And I remember saying, I know. And when I said, I know, I started to scream and hysterically cry. And like, just so much was coming out of me because it wasn't that I wanted to not be gay. I had been bullied severely and punished in my life from church, my family, boys at school. If I was gay, it justified in my mind why they were abusing me. It justified their hitting me. It was a reason where I had been trying to tell myself there was no reason, I'm innocent. It kind of made me feel guilty. You deserved it. And I spent a lot of time in therapy getting over that. But I remember asking God, what am I going to do? And he said, we'll deal with it. And I got up after, I mean, all the French people in the park are, Madame, are you okay? Madame, are you? And I couldn't speak to them. But he said, we'll deal with it. That was 17, almost 18 years ago. And I talk to the divine on a regular basis, probably more than most people, because I'm a shaman, a prophet, an oracle, a seer, and a healer. So I have a lot going on with me. And we've never in 18 years had a conversation about me being gay ever again. Ever again. There was no conversation needed. And it wasn't until I fully embraced the magnitude of who I was and put on a wig and a dress and let the world know that I had been a trans illusionist, meaning cross-dresser, all of my life since I was 8, that I really started to be blessed. everything started to happen. And not just that, I'm not just regaling you with my story. The point is this: you said your grandmother was old school. So is mine. But my grandmother, in the 16 years that I lived with her, she got the opportunity to see me in every facet. And she got to see me work. She got to see me forge the Queen of Shade. She got to see me do the work that I do. And she said to me, sweetie, you couldn't be demon possessed and do that. She just said, I may not have understood it because it was difficult. I come from a family on my mother's side where all of my aunts and uncles are gay and lesbian, but they hate themselves for it. They grew up in church. They hate themselves for it. I was the first one of the grandbabies that said, I'm going to be me. But it took a long time. But I was able to change my grandmother's views. And we today, you know, I'm my own best friend, but my second best friend is my grandmother. My grandmother. And she's still here. I turned 40 in September. She turned 75 in October. And I didn't expect this conversation to go this way, but we're kind of like laying to rest old wounds, you know, kind of like moving on. And that's so ironic that it happened this way. But I think what happens is we come from the same environment. We come from the same environment. And thank God, the divine be praised. You made it out and so did I. Because not everybody does. Not everybody does. You know the statistics.
Before I struggled with my identity as gay or whatever it was always like a weight thing. It was like, I just didn't like how I looked.
Yeah.
I didn't like how I felt. And I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I like, my mom had me up until the point until she married this guy who used to beat the hell out of her. And like, I'm also in therapy, not for as long as you've been. Yeah. It wasn't until I hit 29 where I just started to fall apart. There was no more smiling. There was no more, hey, what's up? I'm Coach Ty. Like, let's do this. Like, I got you. It was like, yeah, let's do this shit. You know what to do. Like, everything changed. Everything started to change. And that was right after my first grandma died. Like, it just started coming out. And we talk about these, you know, traumas and triggers and therapy. And I'm just like, no, I'm good. But you start talking to your therapist and things just come out. Yep. So like that happened with my mom. And after that, I witnessed her just change. Wow. Change, like everything about her and who she was. She went from this hardworking woman who was a nurse. I would like raise my siblings. Yeah. We had lasagna in the oven. I knew what to do. Yeah. Shower them, clean them, make sure they're ready for school the next day, do their homework. Yeah. And like we had a system. It was us and our mom. We had a whole system going, me and my little brother Tyrell. And that's the father of my nephew and everything. Yeah. And I used to watch how he would beat her. We leave, we go stay at my grandma and come back. I'll never forget the feeling of us getting ready for school. We come downstairs and he's sitting at the table with these overalls on, this baggy white t-shirt. And I was so disgusted. I was so upset with my mom for like continuously going back. Yeah. Like, and not just my mom, like us. He never put his hands on me. I don't know what it was. I'm like, you're not my dad. And I was also the oldest. So I'm just like, you're not going to do that. Like, no, like you didn't buy anything for me. It all came from my grandma. So like, you can't, I don't know. I had like a quick mouth as a kid. Yeah. And we were terrified of him. Like I was scared to call the cops. He's done some things where I'm just like, oh my God, like, what do we do? Like when he's home, we don't talk. We go to our rooms. We hide in our own. And you can see like our mom, like just timid all the time. But after that, once she finally got away, everything about her like just changed. Like didn't want to work anymore. Just everything about her. The woman I knew just was completely out the door. And as an adult now, I still have so much more respect for her because like adulting is hard. Yeah. And you went through something. I talked to her about going to therapy. I speak about that situation. Me and my siblings, we go to therapy and we talk about the situation more than she does. She won't bring it up. She won't mention it. And I'm like, you know, I know we witnessed, like, I know that had to have done something to you, especially like watching afterwards. And I know it started to come back up. And that was a big thing that came out in therapy. And it carried into a lot of things that I do when I go back to like situations I know that don't serve me.
Right.
So if I'm down or I get depressed, like I immediately want to go drink or anything that I know that is not benefit me in a positive way. I'm just like, okay. And my therapist helped me a lot. Like, that's not what we're going to do anymore. Like, it's now time to break the chain.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is dope. And it's just like being aware of those things and knowing where my actions may have come from, and then to like share it in like a different light.
Yeah.
Is amazing.
Yeah.
And then same thing with my dad. My dad was he was heavy into, drugs and stuff, and out of prison. He finally got his stuff together 52 years later, and has a whole new family. He's married now. He has 2 beautiful little girls, Jada and Jazzy. And then my little brother, Kaden. And I mean, he's doing good. I'm proud of him. He would try to reconnect with me, and I was like, the best thing that you can do is just be there for them. Because you weren't really there for me, Hassan. Like, I would love if you are just there for them. Just be a good dad to them.
Yeah.
And that was our conversation. Now I can call him up because I'm a fitness professional now.
Yeah.
Like, boy, I used to, hit them weights in the pen.
Yeah.
Like, come out, we're gonna work out, and like it's fun. That's our relationship. I love it. I hold nothing against him because, again, like, I have a lot of respect for them trying, because it's not easy. It's not easy.
I did something to my grandmother not too long ago. Oh boy. First of all, before we go on, how do you feel? How do you feel? You feel all right?
I'm good. Honestly, I feel like I'm holding back, I guess. I'm definitely like, I told you before we got, like, I'm nervous. I don't know where this conversation gonna go.
But for you to be nervous, you're sharing with me a lot. And I just want you to know that this is a brave thing to do that you're doing, because this is a recorded interview, and this gives people an in-depth look at you, and you should never be what I don't want you to be is ashamed, because everything you've told me up until this point has not been your fault. And I need you to understand that. Everything you have said to me thus far, everything you went through, the people involved, has not been your fault. And I need you to understand that. So when you are sharing it, and this won't be the last time you share it, because your story is going to help so many young men, because this is the thing. I said earlier, we do these things. I do this for the boys that didn't make it out. I do this for the boys that died in their teenage years. I do this for the friends I had that bullied me, but yet I still was loyal to them, and they are in jail, in and out of jail. I do this for them because I made it out. So I carry the flag and let them know, listen, you can make more of your life. And I want people to understand, it wasn't easy for me. The last 20 years doing this in entertainment have been the hardest years of my life. But I kept going because I had so many people depending on me, so many people needing me to succeed. But above all of them, I needed me to succeed. I needed to know. My suicide attempts were thwarted. And I'm so thankful that they were, because as I sit here today, my curiosity keeps me alive. My curiosity, I need to know if I make it. Now, yes, I'm pretty successful now, but I need to know if I make it beyond my wildest dreams. See, I can think of all of this. I'm after the never in your wildest dreams, like Tina Turner used to sing. I want that. I want that big, big place. People don't even know, like you meditate on the things that you want. I want to move my entire career back to Paris. I left my heart in Paris. That is where I belong. And for the last 18 years, I have worked on American soil, did nothing, became a recluse, and worked so that I could take everything that I've built to France. And now they're calling for me. I want the wildest dreams. And I want you to want the wildest dreams, because what you're saying to me is not who you are. What you're saying to me is your circumstances. It just was what you were born into. None of this is a reflection of who you are. We've yet to talk about who you are. What we're talking about, none of this is a reflection of you. And I need you to know that. You and me both. We're talking about what we went through in Philly. None of it defines us. None of it made us. Nothing. And for so long, even when years were tough, I found myself saying to God, because I knew, I'm like, God, you didn't will this on me. You didn't will me to suffer. I'm dealing with the hood. I'm dealing with what happens when you're born at the bottom. That's all I was dealing with. And honestly, that's how I succeeded, because I realized, sweetie, you're just dealing with geographical location. Just geographical location. That's why everything that I do now is so deliberate. I move with intent. And yes, I don't speak to my mother. I don't speak to my father. I don't speak to my uncles or aunts. I don't speak to my siblings, because it is possible for 4 children to grow up in a home and have all sustained abuse and have come out differently and a different outlook on it all. And me, my family hates, you have to understand, my family hates me with as much good as I do. And I had to, in therapy, cry about that and talk about the survivor's guilt, because they were mad at me because I made it out. When all I did was make a pact with God. That's all I did. I took every single thing that came my way, whether it was good or bad. But my pact with God said, I looked at the sky and I said, listen, I'm gonna be the last bitch standing. That's all I told God. I'm gonna be the last bitch standing. I met people that were singers. I met other models. I met people that were actors. I knew a whole bunch of people coming up. And I looked at them and whispered to the sky, but I'm gonna be the last bitch standing. And that's what I am. My life is not glamorous. Where I came from is not glamorous. But what you see sitting in front of you was forged by me. It was deliberate. Everything you see here, I'm proud of, because I made it. You know, God gives you life, but what you do with it is totally up to you. And with that, we're going to move into how you made your life what it is. So tell me, why fitness?
Yeah, okay. It started off vain. Like, I didn't want to, like, I wanted to like who I see in the mirror. I wanted abs. I used to follow Allen Iverson. That was like my idol.
Yeah.
I want to look like that. Like, I don't want to be flabby. I don't want to look down and not see my feet.
Right.
That's kind of like where it started. As I got older, of course, I went through therapy for the eating disorder, and that took a long time to like come to it. Like, I had seeing a number on a scale was an issue, and eating was an issue. Like, that was like that for a long time. Yeah. It wasn't until I got to college where I met this guy. I wish so bad I can remember his name. He was like a former coach, and he's like a heavy guy. Yeah. You would look at him and be like, oh, you don't work out. Right. And he would run me through exercise at the gym, because I would just like go on a treadmill. Right. And I was like, okay, like I'm sore, I'm hurting, I'm seeing a difference. Yeah. And I felt good about it. Yeah. Then fast forward even more, I kept doing it. It becomes addictive. Like, I enjoy it. I go to the gym and have fun, and there's all these like cool things you can learn with like how to move your body. And I'm so sorry. What's up? Huh? Yeah, give me a second, okay? We're gonna go get a snack, all right? I don't have any snacks here. We're gonna get you some. All right. Go back in the room. I'll be right there, okay? Um, and fitness like just changed my perspective on a lot of things. Like if I don't work out in the morning, my day's off. Like I can't function.
Yeah.
And then people seeing the transition, like, oh, like you're big now, or like you're all like fine. And I would just like, well, come work out with me. Like, this is what I learned. And then it was like, you're just gonna be making money off of this. And I was like, okay. And people would just give me like $50 to like come to the gym.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is interesting. And I have no knowledge, no certs. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Then I started working at, I think, front desk at Soul Cycle.
Yeah.
Wanted to be an instructor. I would like cry because they like really trigger you. So when they're like, all that stuff you're going through from the past, now I'm like on a bike. And it's something that did to me where I'm like, okay, I can do this to other people. Like let's tap into their emotions and like, let's really have them like understand their why. Yeah. Because my why turned into one, like the vain part to just like, now I just want to help people. Now it's just like a means of like moving your body. Right. And it kind of like just went from there. So my why continues to like not change, but grow. Yeah. Especially being a Black gay man. Yeah. I didn't realize until I moved back to New York how divided, I mean, Blacks and whites are, but like our own community is so divided. Yeah. I'm immediately tossed labels, a body boy. And if you're a body boy who has been in the house and you've escorted, you've done this, there's all these like things. And I'm like, what? Just because I eat a certain way and work out and took the time to learn how to do things so that I'm not going back and looking at the scale and getting scared and going back into the eating disorder. That's why I do it. But that's not what other people see. So fitness is just like a small portion of wellness overall. So there's fitness, there's mental health, and these are all things that I continue to learn the deeper I get into fitness. Yeah. Like even when someone comes to me like, hey, I want to lose weight. I don't, that's like, to me, that's a facade. That's like okay, I want to lose weight. Why do you want to lose weight? Right. You ask them 5 times why they want to do something, and it helps them like really break down. Like, they'll go from, I want to lose weight because I'm fat. Well, my ex left me for a younger, thinner person. Okay. How did that make you feel? And you get to like when they were a child and their parents would tell them like, you probably shouldn't eat that much, or it just goes so much deeper than, just fitness overall. And I'm constantly learning that. I can get anyone like move their body correctly, but understanding like why, and then learning that you have to do this for the rest of your life. Yeah. Yeah. So that's kind of like where it came from.
No, but you know what? That's what happens to us all. Let me tell you something. At 22 years old, I was in Paris. I was a model. I knew I was beautiful. No matter the struggle, no matter New York telling me no, someone in New York, a casting director said, listen, you belong in France. I packed everything I owned into 3 suitcases, didn't have any money, went over to France, met a man. He took care of me for 6 months, loved me to no end, and I pursued my career. What people don't understand is we all have deeper reasons to why we do what we do. And when I started, my why was to prove to all the bullies and my family and everyone who had ever spoken bad about me to my face. They didn't even wait for me to be out of the room. They spoke bad about me to my face. It was to be like, yeah, in your face, I'm this, I'm that, I'm this. And then I started therapy. And then came the Queen of Shade. And when the Queen of Shade first started, she was angry. She was mad because, she had some Hollywood insiders trying to derail her career because of their own insecurities and hatreds, like you said, of themselves. And then they saw me and that I could be a better option. And I will just say this with all shade and implied, and I am a better option. They saw that, and for 15 years, they tried to derail my career. 15 years, I had people doing all kinds of things, including sending people to hurt me at my home. People don't understand what we go through. But the point is to be who we are. But the point is this, somewhere in the process, the Queen of Shade stopped being so shady. And her shade became more of a tree with branches that bears fruit, that can protect you, shield you from the harsh rays of the sun, educate you, water you. That's what my life became. And, you know, people say, oh, well, you're not the Queen of Shade anymore. You're the Queen of Kindness or Help or Spirituality. And I say, no, baby, the Queen of Shade is still mine. That's why I own the trademark. That's why nobody will ever get it as long as I'm alive. And I've already done my will, so I know where it goes next. But I realized that all of those, like you said, those reasons why, they changed. Because of my therapy, I was able to detach myself from what happened before and actually see what was going on, see my role. Because get this, in therapy, you have to sometimes take responsibility for something you didn't create or cause. It's the only way you can get ahead of it, get a jump on it. And I'm gonna let you know something I've never told anybody. Being a model and pursuing that for so long, I don't eat the way I'm supposed to. I haven't, we're on the East Coast. It's 6:31 in the evening. I haven't put anything in my mouth today. And my therapist called me this morning. This is my therapy day. And these are the things that people don't know about me, but I'm not afraid or ashamed to share them because I'm a work in progress. Just as I help others, I help myself. She said to me today, you've got to get better with self-care. You do so much for the world. You've got to eat. But chasing my dreams of fashion and vanity, I kind of got bitten with that same bug. And I eat, but I eat as a reward. And I'm gonna show you where it stems from. After my day is done and I've done a successful interview, I've helped somebody, I've shared something with the world, then I eat as kind of a reward. And my therapist says, you have to eat to live. It should not be a reward. But me, I don't, and it's not even the church thing. It's not if a man doesn't work, he doesn't eat. That's not that. When I was 6 or 7, I used to steal lunches from school, extra lunches, and put them in my backpack because my mother was on drugs and I had to take care of my 3 siblings. And what happened was I would take all these lunches home and feed my siblings. And I refused to eat any of the food because I wanted them to make sure they could get every morsel that they needed to stay alive. So I got in the habit of stealing. That's actually how I got caught. The school called my grandmother, and my grandmother I wasn't living with her at this time. But they told her something's wrong. He's doing this and we're not stopping him. He doesn't even know that we know that he's doing this, but we're monitoring. And he's getting thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner. And there was a point when I got really thin, malnutrition, and I had to go in the hospital. I almost died because I had to be fed, intravenously, because I would not eat any of the food that was needed or necessary for my siblings. And I have carried that for 40 years. Even to this day, Tyriek, it has been a struggle, but I still have to fight the urge to put everyone else before me. Some days I win, some days I lose, but I have more losing days than I do winning. And today was a losing day. I got so caught up in the work and sharing and doing this and doing that. And my grandmother stays on me because I live with my grandmother, not because I can't afford to move out, but because my therapist said it would behoove you to stay with somebody who's going to check in on you. You can't just be by yourself. So my grandmother stays on me. You need to eat, you need to eat, you need to eat. And how she gets me to eat is because I will take all of this off and feed her. She makes me eat at the same time. And it's gotten to the point where she's like, no, you're not taking this upstairs. Sit here and eat this with me. So we all are not perfect. We're not perfect. And I've carried, what, go ahead.
Now I'm saying 100%. Like no one's perfect.
Yeah.
Like we all have our moments, and even when you said like putting it, for people will never understand that struggle of like not putting others first.
Mm-hmm.
Not doing that, I didn't even realize that I struggled with that for a while.
Yep.
It's definitely it's a thing. It's a thing. Therapy has helped me a lot. Finally listening to those things that my grandma would say growing up, or things you like, those little quotes make a lot more sense in my 30s. Like my friend group is my actual friends, the ones I label as a friend.
Yeah.
It's small.
Yeah.
It's small. It's very, very small.
Yeah.
And those are the ones that I can sit down and communicate like, you hear my feelings.
Yeah.
I can be vulnerable with them, and like I love it. I love it. It's a lot. And those are the ones that are telling me like, did you eat today?
Yeah.
I seen you work out, but like, did you have your protein intake? Like those are, you need those people. For you, it's your grandma. I have my two best friends here. And it's putting other people first is more than just like doing kind things. Like you end up doing it in toxic or unhealthy environments, whether it's a partner you're with or your job. You put your job before you put yourself, or it comes on so many different levels. And sometimes you're like, nah, I got to make sure like I'm okay.
But you know what's worse too? Being queer men, they also taught us that we weren't worth anything. They also taught us that we were the last, and that we were going to burn in hell, and we were going to do this and we were going to do that. And I'm going to tell you, it takes a long time to get rid of that out of your spirit. It takes a long time. I've gotten better with how I answer back, because people say, oh, well, you can't go to heaven like this. You can't go to heaven like this. And I tell them I've gotten better because it's not a religious thing to me anymore. I tell people, I say, well, that's okay. If I don't go to heaven, that's fine. But I want you to understand something. Wherever I go, it will be the place that I belong, and God will be present. That's what I tell them. It may not be your heaven. I don't want to go anywhere where there are choirs singing and people shouting and falling out and running. I had enough of that. And then watching them get up and screw everybody in the church, and the boys in the church and the girls in the church, and get people pregnant and do all these things that they were big and bad to do. I don't like hypocrisy. So I wouldn't want to be anywhere with them anyway. I once got into it with my grandmother when we were first getting to know each other. And I said, listen, I'm not the type of person that will do people wrong all day long and then repent at 6 o'clock in the evening for prayer. And she looked at me. I said, I don't live like I have a contingency plan that I can run around and be the meanest, most nastiest person all day long. But, pray at night. Lord, forgive me. I repent. And then my slate is clean. What about the feelings of the person? What about the damage that you did? My grandmother started really paying attention to me then. And she realized, she said, baby, you are definitely a man of God. And that set me free on so many levels, because she said, I don't care what they say. My grandmother bought me my first wig, my first dress, this necklace. And this is a devout Christian who couldn't do it for her kids because they were gay and they had a very hard time coming up with her. But in my generation, because I refused to back down, I refused to be invisible, I refused to stay silent, she got to learn me. And then she saw the Lord do amazing, monumental things. And I tell people all the time, I say, I used to say to her all the time, you pray every night, right? And she says, yes, every night, 6 or 7 o'clock at night. I say, then why did God make the gay one the millionaire? If you've prayed your whole life, you'll be 75. Why did he give me the intellectual property that's going to pay me and my generations to come for the rest of their lives? Why am I the millionaire? And I've learned, I've been saying it on TikTok because I'm big on TikTok now. But I've been saying it when people ask me, how can you say that you belong to God? I say, because God told me something. And they're like, what did he tell you? I said, he made me gay. I was born to be gay. And they look at me with such disgust. And I'm like, what? And they say, well, why did you say that he said that? I said, because he said he wanted to send me to a group of people that nobody else wanted to deal with. He wanted to send me to a group of people that nobody else felt or loved or cared about. And the only way I could go to them is if I was one of them. So truly, so that they would know that I understand their struggle. I understand what they've been through. I understand what it takes every single day to live. Because my God, yes, I have mental illness that I have to keep under control, but the Black community and the way that it treats members of the LGBTQIAP+ community is enough to kill you there by itself. When I literally, back to when we were talking about, I was living at 30th and Lehigh, and an older woman, an older grandmother, she would sweep her steps, and I would walk early in the morning because I would leave late at night, midnight. I had to be to work by midnight, and I was back home by like 7 in the morning, and I couldn't afford to get the bus fare yet, or get the bus right. So I would walk from 30th and Lehigh all the way down to Old City every day. But I remember this lady, she saw me and she said, God, get him out of here. And I looked at her and I said, ma'am, she said, you're a beautiful soul. And these men around here will shoot you because they don't like the way that you are. And I said, I thank you for your prayer. And I walked on. And yes, God got me out of there. I had to get out of there. It was crazy. But I think the point of this conversation today is that no one's perfect. We all have stories with us, and our stories make us strong. Our stories, not just our stories, our reasons why. My therapist always says to me, people always look at the what. They never look at the why. My grandfather, my biological grandfather, carried on a sexual relationship with my mother. I was not her first child. That one was aborted. And he sexually assaulted and molested 2 of his other children. My grandmother hated him for years. She wanted to see him 6 feet under. Until one day, she was sitting there and I had a dream, and that's what happens to me. Sometimes I see things like a movie in front of me. Sometimes I go to sleep. And I said to her, I know that you don't like him, but let's explore his life. Tell me what you know about him. And what I found out from my grandmother was that he was back in, it was slavery times. My great-grandfather was a white man and a slave owner. And he used to, how should I say, commission my grandfather to entertain him and his slave owner friends. So if you can understand what I'm saying, that was kind of a train you don't want to be a part of. And when my grandmother said it, and I looked at her, she immediately understood that he did what was done to him because he failed to go get help. He failed to cry about it. He failed to talk about it. He failed to see a therapist about it. And it festered. And when something festers, it comes out in the worst ways. That's why I jumped at therapy. I jumped at it because I did not want those negative things that I had learned to come out in the worst ways. Because if you don't get therapy, if you don't do it, what you learn, you will also imitate. It's the type of person we are. They always want to say, oh, gays are child molesters. No, we're not. Most of us were molested by our quote unquote straight family members. It wasn't gay people that did this. And I think today it's going to help a lot of people, because we shared, because we were Philadelphians. We really opened up. And I think that going forward, we're going to be able to feel and be just a little bit lighter, just a little lighter, and not have to carry so many weights and heavy loads. Because I want you to know, I have to tell myself that sometimes it's not my responsibility to carry everyone. It's not my responsibility to carry every weight. Some weight, I'm like you, the only weights I want to pick up and hold are the ones I go to the gym and pick up. I don't want nobody else's, which is why I say to myself as well, I don't want nobody else put no baggage on me. I've learned that I'm impressionable. I've learned that I'm empathic. So you tell me about your pain and this, that, and the other, and I feel for you. But I don't want nobody's weight, especially if they're not doing anything about it to change it themselves.
Most of the things you just said is just one, we call it today, you are protecting the fuck out of your energy. I do the same thing. Even when I'm talking to my clients, I'm like, I want to be there for you, but I can only do but so much. You have to like do the work.
Yeah.
Sometimes they come at me with personal issues. I used to just sit, listen, and take it off. Now I'm like, okay, ask yourself, where are you finding these people?
Right.
Okay. What is that platform used for? Okay. So that's something that you should sit down and like, think about.
Right.
Weeks later, I want to hang out with more people who are in the same field. Like he's like, I just want to hang out with more fitness people. Like, what groups can I go to? He wants to go to group fitness classes. I'm like, okay, so you're taking initiative to understand, like, this is what you said you want, and this is what you have to do to get there.
Yeah.
I had to do the same thing.
Yeah.
I can't be a fitness coach consistently, and I'm working back at the bar, but I'm strong enough to like work back at the bar. Yeah. I can't be a fitness coach and be like drinking every night or going to every single rave and not getting sleep and showing up to my sessions like half dead. Like I have to be it.
Yeah.
And that's hard. That's hard when you are trying to embody something and you realize like this is tough. It's hard. But if I can do it, then that's when they follow. That's when they see you for like, okay, like you standing in it and you doing it.
Yeah.
I can trust you.
Yeah.
Okay, now we can like learn some real shit. Like,
yeah.
Now we can have those deep conversations, because it's not just fitness. Let's have those deep conversations of like really understanding our whys and then doing the work to get to exactly where you want to be. So again, protecting your energy and then holding yourself accountable and then not playing the victim.
Yeah.
Like for me, I was able to learn like everything that's happened in my past was an event.
Right.
And we all have these events in our lives. So one person can say, oh my God. So what actually happened, right? Someone can say, my dad left, right? That's what happened. Your dad left. There's not, you don't know anything about it. Right. People, I can't say people, but there are individuals like, my dad left and it caused me to do this. It caused me to do that. Mm-hmm. No, the only thing that happened is he left. Right. You may not have the emotional intelligence or like the know how to handle that. Yeah. But you made those choices. The only thing that happened is your dad left. So now let's leave that event there. And now all those narratives you created, let's wash them away. Yeah. Now what are we going to do now? So now the only thing that happened is your dad left. Now what's next? Yeah. Your dad left and you became an entrepreneur. You started your business. Yeah. You did all these great things. Like that's what happened. Your dad left, you worked harder. So now you make it a negative into a positive. There's so many different things that I'll like sit and discuss with my clients once I get their trust. Because I have to show them this is what you have to do. And then they see like the transformation, like, all right, let's get it. Let's talk about what you're actually doing outside of the job,
Yeah. I took a course called the Landmark Forum here in Philadelphia. And that course taught us that, series of events happen. It's what you make them mean. That's the problem.
Mhm.
Taught us that you just leave that where it is. You don't have to make it mean that, because people say, my dad left, he didn't want me.
Mhm.
He didn't say, and although he didn't say that, he just left. You don't know what caused him to leave. But it's because you make it mean something, and you add, like you said, these narratives to what happened, that now you are bogged down. Now you have these hurts that your dad didn't even cause.
Exactly. And you carry that around for like ever.
Yeah.
And I've learned to do that in every situation. And again, I'm not perfect. Sometimes I'm just like, what? But when I can recognize someone making a situation with me something that it's not, I'm like, that's not what happened.
Yeah.
And you're definitely playing the victim, because I was present. I was present in that moment.
Yeah.
So the best thing I can do is just completely, you weren't even a part of my story at this point. So what you're saying is, you carry that on and you go play the victim, and you spread it. You spread it. And I hope it gets you really, really far. But I'm going to stay over here.
Yeah.
I'm going to hold myself accountable for being in that situation for too long, or not recognizing which way I should have moved. And now I'm going to go ahead and move that direction.
Yeah.
It's accountability. It's being aware. And like you said, Landmark has like I don't want to say, it was brought up because I also went to a convention or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that it changed everything.
Yeah.
I was like, oh snap.
Yeah.
Like outside of therapy, that was like an experience.
Yeah.
It was like a whole experience.
Yeah, it was. No, I love the fact that we were able to sit and just level, because it's so amazing. I want to know, when did you decide, okay, I'm going to do Black and queer fitness? Like, I'm going to found this, I'm going to do my own. Like, when did that happen? And when did you attach the queer word to it? When did you become really comfortable with that?
Okay. I guess so. Like I told you, it's only been like 3 years since I've been in therapy.
Right.
The beginning was dark. When I say dark, I mean I did not know who I was as a person.
Yeah.
It was like starting from scratch. I was all of a sudden very angry with the world.
Yeah.
I was very angry with always having it. Like, you go into a room, it's like they just expect me to be the hype man and like laugh and smile. I'm like, I really don't feel like doing that today.
Right.
Like the love of my life, my grandma's on. Like, I don't want to smile for anybody. I just want to have like a double shot of tequila, and I want everybody to fuck off.
Yeah.
And no one was like used to that, and it grew. Then and I was in this. I was in a situation that wasn't serving me.
Right.
And continued to stay there out of being comfortable.
Yeah. That's usually
that grew on me.
Yeah, it's usually why. Yeah, it's usually why you're comfortable.
Yeah, and that's it, because I wasn't happy. I was just very comfortable.
Right.
Then another event happened where I definitely could have had control over it, but after this event happened, 2020, I didn't get COVID. I got HIV.
Yeah.
So everything's just like it's like. So 2021, I just like exploded. I exploded. And that's when, like, I'm already in therapy and things just started making sense. It's not just about fitness. Like, I'm a Black man. My identity sometimes I like struggle with, because you got bullied just for like being you.
Yep.
I got bullied because I talk slightly different. Like, I didn't talk Black enough.
Mm-hmm.
Or I remember when my mom moved out to the Northeast, very similar story.
Yeah.
But I guess I carried myself a lot differently. I wasn't wearing like really tight clothes yet.
Yeah.
But my grandma had me wearing those Dockers. I had the roly-poly. So I fit the description of like the nerd. Like, I didn't get to wear the Dickies and like the big, which I wanted to.
Yeah.
When you walk on the bottom of your sneakers and your Chucks or your Converse kind of hang out. I couldn't do that. I had on those patent leather shoes, whatever. So they're like joking on the train, and I'm laughing at them. I'm like, oh my God, like, I have friends. Like, this is cool. The minute we get off the train, it was like, we got a body, which that day, like, we got a body. One by one, as I'm walking down, it just hit me in my jaw. And it might have been like 5 of them. Just hit. And then the sucker dude came over like, yo, leave him alone. I didn't cry. I was angry. I for whatever reason, I felt stupid because we're on a train laughing or cracking jokes. I felt like I was welcome. And then at the same time, it was a joke. And that's kind of that's where queer came from. Like, oh my God, we're all get together. And then you notice certain things that happen in the queer community where like, I'm only accepted here because I look like that.
Yeah.
Or look like this, but I'm not accepted here because I look like this. And it's different for every person in the queer community, opposed to just being one. Just because I mean, I'll wear heels, but I mean, it's not me. I like who I am. I like how I talk. I like how I walk. Like, and it took a long time to like love me. So don't be upset because I'm not, you know, I wasn't brought up like, you know, painting my nails. Not saying that I wouldn't. It's just different. But I'm still, I still love guys. Like I still feel I'm a part of this community, just like you are, and I don't judge anyone for it. So for me to go into a room, and I went to a movie fest where I had to talk about fitness, and I got looked up and down. Yeah. And they talked to like my partner, who is like, I love this guy. We are the same person. We just look different. Yeah. I'm built, and he just started his fitness journey. So, but they felt more comfortable going to him. And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, well, this is my trainer. And like, I'm like, okay. Like, I was excited to go there. The minute that happened, I'm like, I should just go home. Yeah. What's that? I know. This one. Come say hi.
Tell him we're almost.
Hi. Say what's up. Hi. Say hi.
Hi. No, we're almost done. I'm not going to hold you that much longer, but you are absolutely right. I love what you said, because you are the first person to ever just realize it. And that's because you are doing a journey and a cultivation of self. You were like, you are protecting the fuck out of your peace and out of your presence and out of your, you know, spirit. You are like your energy, because that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm 40 years old and I damn near didn't make it here. And what you were just saying is so true. I'm not Black enough. I'm not woman enough. I'm not man enough. Not masculine enough. Not accepted with the gays. Now get it, the gays, oh, trust me, get it. Queen of Shade, we love you. Oh, da, 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 da. No, they're intimidated by me, baby. They either want to find out how I do what I do. And then when they realize, oh no, the bitch is really just anointed, then it's the hate. And my thing is, how I deal with it all is I take my happy tail places by myself or with security. Like, it's so crazy because I have worked, like in the last 6 years, I created, now intellectual property is a big thing to me. So I have created, just on Instagram alone, I gave Instagram 22,000 originally scripted videos in 6 years. And now I'm still creating, because now I'm creating for TikTok, and I'm creating so that because I'm, like you said, yes, I'm a big deal. People know me. I got celebrity friends, all of that. But when this train pulls into its destination, I am trying to hit play on all of that shit and walk off into the sunset. I don't want a party. I don't want a club. I want to go somewhere, maybe Tahiti or the Maldives, and I want to sit with my God. And I want to thank him for freeing me from everything and everyone. And I don't want anyone to disturb me until I'm ready to return to civilization. So that's why I'm doing all this work now. Because see, I know how the internet works. If you create it and you post it, more and more people will find it. It just happens. And then you start promoting, and then this gets shared, and then that gets shared. I've been viral several times. But even after going viral, I had to still work, keep it going. And I grew, I evolved. What you see here is an evolution. But I'm not trying to be a part of no group, though I'm a part of many. Black men, gay men, cross-dressers. My buddy, Darnell Thomas, he's a media personality. He says, you're a trans illusionist because, cross-dresser's not enough for you. You're too glamorous. And I'm like, all right. So trans illusionist. But it's kind of crazy because I don't feel welcome among my customers. The gay community is my customers. I'm the only one that is really spouting that you don't need to leave the community to make your money. I'm telling everybody, stay in your community, stay where you are, you make your money right there. And they're like, can you really? Yeah, I don't have to go to Hollywood. I call Hollywood Holly weird. I'm not interested in Hollywood, though they're interested in me. But who knows? I know one thing for sure. I'm going to Paris.
Yes, sir.
And I know another thing for sure. I have already successful, famous friends in Paris. And they said, bitch, it ain't gonna be hard for you to be famous here. We'll pay you not to leave. That's my plan. People ask, well, that's your plan. I've been working 18 years. Everything I built was so that I could continue to own it, because as it gets shown to the next person, and the next person, the next generation, and the next generation, it just accrues value. And most people, they don't have the situation that I did. And that was because of my mental illness. I couldn't work regular jobs. So my psychiatrist was the one that wrote it. Oh no, he needs to create. He needs to tap into his gifts and talents. That is what is comfortable. That's what stabilizes him. So she wrote that in my medical chart. That's why I'm able to do what I do. When they go, oh, well, he should work another job. No, because psychiatrists. This is the one that make that medicine. Psychiatrist said, no, he can't. He needs to create the way that every time I talk to them, they ask me, so how's your work going? Are you reaching new people? She said to me this morning, she said, it's Pride Month. I know you're busy. I said, yes, I am. All the content I'm creating. And she says, well, where are you going to put it? I said, TikTok. And she was like, oh, that's your new thing now? No Instagram? I said, no, Instagram got on my nerves. TikTok now. What I am saying as we wrap, we got to be us. And sometimes the price of being us is walking alone. But I want you to know that you are no longer alone. You have me. You have
Stop
me.
it.
You have me. You have me. You see, this, look at this. I could be interviewing for Hollyweird. I could be doing it, flexing my journalism skills. But I do not believe that I would be given the same leeway to talk the way that we did. Because do you know, I've done 185 interviews all over the world. Last week I did Belgium. Do you know they all have my number? My actual number. They can text me, talk to me, and get it. These people are people of importance and influence. I'm building my own network. I don't need nobody to do it for me. And that's one thing that my therapist used to say, no matter what people say about you, you're still a man to the core. I got to do it. I got to do it with my hands. I don't want nobody to hand me nothing. I didn't come from that. I'll work for it. My grandmother tells me all the time, you don't have to work so hard. Yes, I do. Why? Because you gave me your retirement. I got to make sure you make that back. And she says, but it's okay. No, it's not okay. Why? Because for the first time in your family, you have a real man. And men work for what we want. That's all I know how to do. It's why I'm sitting here. It's why you're sitting here. You just do what you do. How you do it, when you do it, what you do it. So tell me this. How do you know? Because I'm getting ready to pull, I forget his first name. I always want to say Jay Malik. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Jamar.
Yeah, Jamar. I interviewed him too. Tell me how. Tell me how you know him, because I love him.
I think he because again, when I seen the Queen of Shade, I was like, oh my god, like, so I had this interview coming up. We went to go like work out, so I have this interview coming up, and he was like, oh, you'll be fine. She's a sweetheart, like biggest sweetheart. It's not what you think it's gonna be. I'm like, okay.
I need the laptop.
He's ready to go.
But he's here. Here. So originally me, it was through social media.
Yeah.
Literally just like talking about fitness stuff.
Yeah.
And how we had plans on moving back to New York, because I think he originally lived here, and he was like, I want to move back.
Yeah.
I need to make new friends. Like, I want to be around fitness people.
Yeah.
And then we just talked about like creating content or working out, different exercises. I'm using the kettlebells.
Yeah.
Our training styles are so different. He's very like, he smiles to his workouts.
Yes.
I smile before, and I'm like, I'm jokey, like I'll laugh, but like in the workout, I'm serious. Like I'm serious.
Yeah.
He's like, no, you gotta smile because like we love this. I'm like, no, I don't want to smile. Like, please don't make me do it. And then, but it's just fun. So when we actually met, like the dynamic was awesome. It was awesome. And then his partner Aaron is like the sweetest.
I know. I'm trying to get him. I keep emailing him. We keep missing each other. I'm trying to get him. I'm trying to get him to interview, and he agreed that he would, but I don't know what was going on. He wasn't receiving the email, so I'll just keep trying for him. But you don't like to? Are you sure you don't like to smile through workouts?
I do.
What's this?
I do, but not. So listen. He is the twerking, dancing king.
That's you.
Anytime we work out, he was like, all right, now.
That's you, baby. That's you.
Yeah, that's me. He ain't direct it. He like, no, we're going to dance. Like he pushes fun, and I push like, serious. Like, okay,
but he's not twerking, Tyriek. You're twerking.
Well, yeah, in this video, I got others.
No, I'm just saying, like, I like that you're having fun, and that I like that you're with people that you can have fun with because you've been through a lot. And eventually, like I said, I want to go to an island. You're going to need to decompress. That's what's going to happen. After all that therapy, decompress, because it's just like, because you have to it's kind of like a second wind. You got to figure out what you're going to do with the rest of your life. And who you gonna spend it with, if you're gonna get married, if you're gonna, do all of those things. Me, I'm a castrating career bitch. I will never marry.
Marriage. As bad as I want it, I don't know if I'm like giving up or no. It'll happen. But I'm not like thinking about it right now.
Yeah, the only way I'm gonna get married is if somebody shoot me and put a ring on my anchor in the grave and say, oh yeah, we were married before. Like, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
I want to, like, I want like a pretty wedding. I want to like get all dressed up and have my friends come get all dressed up.
But you know what I love? You can get dressed up like that anytime. You can invite all your friends together and be like, look, we're gonna celebrate me today. Flowers, mimosas. You can do all of that.
True. I can't even, there's nothing I can say about that.
Yeah, you can do that.
And that's something I'm working on. This is the longest I've been single for a very long time.
Oh, okay. What's your birth sign?
Yeah. What's my sign?
Yeah.
Virgo.
Oh, beautiful Virgo man. Do you know somebody did a chart for me, and they always said to me, you want a lot of Virgos in your life. So now my claws are in you. I'm not gonna let you go, because now they said that Virgo men will hold you down. I'm a Libra, so they're like, Virgo men will hold you down. You need a lot of Virgos in your life. And I was like, and I had to think about that. And over times past, I was like, you know what? He was a Virgo. I'm like, oh, okay. Virgo's been holding me down for a long time.
That's crazy, because my best friends are like, yeah, you're intense. You're a lot.
Oh no.
You're here, but
we right there, Virgo and Libra. We intense is not the word. We are lasers. Yeah. Precision. Yeah.
And I do catch myself sometimes. I like to say it's just me, but like I catch myself doing certain things like, wait, like redirecting a whole conversation. Hey, I want you guys to know, like when I said that thing, was anyone offended? Are we all okay? Because y'all been around me long enough. Like I gotta break it down. Okay, so we're done. We're good. All right, let's move on. And then just to make sure, like, I don't know, it's become like a thing.
I have enjoyed you. Give me 3 words that inspire and empower you.
3 words that inspire and empower me. Okay. Rest.
Yes.
Rest, peace,
Yeah.
and wow, that almost sounded like rest and peace, but rest, peace, and another word, I guess, would be love. Rest, peace, and love.
I knew you were going to say that. Tell everyone where they can find you on social media.
You can find me at Tyriek_Taylor. That's my main page, or Black and Queer Fitness on Instagram, and Ty Boogie with 2 zeros as the O's and a 3 on TikTok.
You're going to have to text me your TikTok because y'all go to, So, but I have really enjoyed talking to you, and I'm ending it because I could have talked to you forever, but your nephew has been more than kind.
I know he's
more than kind.
He's ready.
I'm like, okay, Queen, let's go. But I have look at me. I've been messing with his hair. Look at it. I just love it. Oh, this is good hair too. My friend, she's an actress, Hollywood actress. She sent this to me. Yeah, she sent me a whole box. It's a whole box. And it's just
sitting. This sweat got the boobs glistening. Like, you good.
I was loving it. No, because I have to turn my air conditioner off so that it doesn't bleed into but a little sweat ain't never hurt nobody, especially when it's glistening on the
and then we got that good skin. We got that good skin. So when we glisten.
Yeah. So yeah, but just thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. And we really went. But you know what, Virgo and Libra, we just went straight for it. Like we just started it was crazy. But I really believe that a lot of people are going to be helped by this. And that's the thing. So I'm glad that we did it. I'm glad that we spoke. I'm glad that you spoke. I'm glad that, how do you feel? Do you feel comfortable? Do you feel like did your story do justice?
Yeah, I mean, I think so.
Amazing, I think so.
I
You're supposed to say yes, Queen Shade. Wait, you're supposed to say yes, Queen Shade. You are the best. You are the only one that could ever do it. I endorse you. No, I'm just
but I feel like you should already know those things. Like, I'm here. We talking before. I'm like, I'm nervous. Should I be nervous? Like, am I good? Like, I'm here. Like,
you gotta remember. But get this. You gotta remember, it's being recorded. They don't know the conversation we had off camera, so you gotta say it all here, so that it. You can't say it now. You can't say it now. We can talk about it. You were nervous, but you're not nervous anymore, are you?
No. I mean, it was like you said in the beginning, just a conversation.
Yeah, and it was.
And that's how I feel most things should be, just a conversation.
And it was amazing. Yeah,
I appreciate you bringing me on here. Like, this was nothing to be nervous about. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me. Yeah,
so go back and tell Jamar that you enjoyed yourself.
I will.
Okay, don't go nowhere. Hold on. Ladies and gentlemen, you have heard the vocal stylings of Mr. Tyriek Taylor, who needs to go and get his nephew a snack and a haircut. Say goodbye to the people, but don't hang up immediately.
Bye. Have a great night.
Okay, hold on. So did you enjoy? I hope you did. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, and don't forget to cash at me at the Queen of Shade. I am your favorite content creator, right? Right. You want to see more of this content, right? Right. Cash at me. I love you. Mwah.
I've got my black stilettos on. Don't you make me take them off. I'm assuming first position. Gonna show you I'm a boss. I've been given 60 seconds just to put